right, folks, welcome back again to the podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Smith. I got my co-host, Laya, CBN, and we've got aka Black David, and we've got a guest for us today, Michael Richardson. Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
I'm Michael Richardson. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My background, United States Navy, 13 years, was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Bosnia. Did 13 years there, got out of there. Matter of fact, I did active and active reserves. In 2003, I walked away from the active reserves because I didn't want to go to no more wars. I was up for Chief Petty Officer. I was like, don't want to do that no more. So got out, started working with Sprint, and then it was uphill from there. So anything you want to know, just let me know. I've been in this industry, like I was telling y'all, between the military and the civilian sector, 35 years pretty much. So
Nice.
That's my senior right there.
Yeah, that's the senior level.
Oh yeah, I am.
So
go ahead.
I got one question for you. So I've always heard that position, Chief Petty Officer. Can you tell me more about that position? What exactly?
Well, the thing was, I was a petty officer first class, which the next step is a chief petty officer, but I didn't go for it. So what a chief petty officer does is that they run everybody else. So I'm a lead as a first class petty officer. I was an E6, which I was a leading petty officer on my radio shack. So what I did in the Navy, I was tech control. And then I became a tech control supervisor, which is 2318, 2319. If you want to know the MOSs for it. And I built satellite circuits. I built HF circuits. I helped the OS, like during combat, build up circuits so we could communicate with the task groups, the different things. That's what I did. So
Nice. Okay.
You know what you did the brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say that again.
You with the brain because the auto position, you're a petty chief officer wearing an orange uniform with the bat, the star and everything. You with the brain.
Nice.
Yeah, but I didn't go for chief. I told you I didn't go for chief. I just stopped at E6. So I wasn't going for chief because if I went for chief, I would have had to stay in an extra year or two, and I didn't want to do that. I was done with the military.
Yeah, that is true. I was trying to join the Navy. They told me the same exact thing. When you pass E6, go to that next level, you got to add every rank after you add an extra year on top. And I was like,
yep.
You joking?
Yep.
You say, yeah.
Yep. You sure do.
How you climb up the rank, the extra year you stay in.
Yes.
Wow. Nice. All right. So, Eli, you got any questions you want to throw at it?
I'm gonna like this. Based on your educational background, right? What path did you take? Like, you went straight from high school to the military, or you went to college first?
Went to college first. So from high school, I went to DeVry Institute of Technology. That's the university now. But back then, it wasn't a university. It was the tech school because I went there from 86 to 88. And then I joined the Navy in 89. And then I was in the Navy from 89 to 99, and then active duty from 99 to 2003. Active reserves. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got DeVry out here. A lot of people sleep on DeVry. DeVry is actually a good school.
Yeah, especially since they made it. ITT Tech, though. You know the story behind it. Now they ripped off a lot of people.
I know. I was the one that came up to Pennsylvania. So
at least DeVry did not. Yeah.
But I would say this: when I went to that school, but it did have some doors open, and they helped a lot of people to jump on the Verizon cable splicing job. They were the first one to get it before everybody else get it. So I guess I take that credit for that. But as for the tuition fee and all that other stuff that was going on, it was kind of like, I don't like what they were doing on the back end. DeVry, I could have choose that, but I wasn't sure they had my major at that time. If they did, it wasn't within the city, it was further out of the city at that time.
Yeah, when I went to DeVry, I went there to be electronic technician. So I was just doing an associate degree, and then from there you could do the 3 or the 4 year degree, which bring you to the engineer status. But really, most of my training, even though I did go to DeVry, most of my training is from the United States Navy. Because, like I was explaining, I was a tech control supervisor. And then they closed down like one of our centers and gave it to the civilians. So my master chief was like, hey, you want to come down here and work at the telephone office? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'll give you everything you need. So he sent me to DWDM school in Richardson, Texas, which y'all probably never heard of these providers, but like Fujitsu. I was one of the first ones to work with. So what DWDM is fiber optics pretty much. And that's what you use to connect all the routers and everything with IT, the telephone switches. So he sent me over there. And once he sent me there, he told me, he said, I'll give you all the education that you need to get out the Navy to make it because you're too smart to be in the Navy. And that's what he told me. And so before I got out there, he sent me, I went to all these schools in Richardson, Texas, where I got education on different equipment vendors. And then what else? Then I became what was that thing that I was? A Bixie certified engineer. So, he prepared me for the outside. And that's why I was laughing, because I said my first job was Sprint, where I troubleshoot T1s and I install T1s remotely, which was a pretty cool job.
What year did you start working for Sprint?
99.
That's amazing. That's the same company I worked with, but what in 99? I was surprised I went to Sprint. But from your point of view, based on educational path, would you highly recommend anybody want to go into IT to go from college first, then go to the military to get more advanced training? Or you recommend something else different?
It depends on if the person is disciplined. If you're not disciplined, you can't go in the military because you're not going to be used to taking orders from people. Now, one thing about the military is you could go in there and also get your college paid for. So they had this program called Boost, where you could go in there and do your 4 years, and you could do the Boost program, become an officer. And that time you have to do 6 years. So I would recommend that. And then they had a Seaman and Admiral program also. So what I would recommend to me to get out of poverty, or to me, education is the key to end poverty. Any type of education. I'm not going to say college. I'll say a trade school. I say college, I say the military, and when you go in the military, you choose your rate, you choose your fate. So pick a rate that you can use in a civilian sector, which the rate is like a civilian sector. You could be an electronic technician. You could be a IT. You could be a CT. You could be an IC. Y'all probably don't know what all that stuff is, but like a CT is a crypto tech. IC is telephone. IT is what we do now. I was a radioman before they converted to IT. So they converted the rate to IT. I was a radioman before. So those are different things you could do. And, I have a true testimony growing up in Detroit, Michigan. I grew up in the hood. That's why I think CMB asked me before, was I a nerd? And I was like, no, I'm not a nerd. I'm a corporate thug. Because I was able to get into the corporation, but I still was cool. I didn't walk around with a pocket protector or anything like that, but I was smart. So,
yeah, I think when it comes to IT, everybody has that old world view of what an IT technician looks like. I mean, I know females in IT that wear heels and they look like straight up professionals. I know dudes who rock suits every day and do IT work. So that vision of, oh, you got a pocket protector on and shit like that. Well, first of all, most shirts nowadays, most button-up shirts don't have pockets. So,
right.
Even short sleeve shirts don't have much pockets anymore. But
unless you're in a certain field whereby you getting down and dirty in and out in the server room, you pulling out machine left and right. But I remember in the fashion company, I had to tell them, you're not gonna have me dress in no 3-piece suit and you let me be underneath the table, pull out machine. I'm pulling out heavy server rack, get my shirt, my dress pant dirty. I think no, I got a regular uniform. I got a polo shirt, a dicky pants. I can carry my tools because I got to have my tools on me because you know how annoying that is when you have that moment and you're looking for that particular tool, you gotta run back, then come. I can't do all that. I just can't. So it looked like I look like a EMT in the corporate floor with all bunch of stuff in my pocketbook and all different type of tools because I don't know where. Oh, I got something with the laptop. I know what the problem is. Just open it up, fix it, boom, boom, pull it back in.
Right.
I'm on the next
Plane.
I don't got no pocket protector whatsoever.
Right.
I'm just like utility belt kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So in
that's
2001 was the last time that I wore a suit in the industry, because our CEO, he brought us all into a conference room, and he said, "This is our new dress code." He pulled off his suit jacket. He put on a button down. He put on some jeans. He said, "This is our new dress code." He said, "We will not wear suits anymore." And then from there, we went down from there with polo shirts and khakis, like Black David was saying.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
And I had to tell the fashion company that because they didn't get it. But like, you asking us to do some of the craziest, some of the hardest job to do. You yanking out a 200-pound server off a rack. You're not gonna wear a 2-3-piece suit doing that.
Right.
No, you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to
That's
be
a good
cable,
thing.
fixing the cabling. You upside down. By the time you get up, all the dirt and ground from the foot is sticking onto your jacket or to your blazer or to your shirt. Come on, you can't be serious.
Right.
And
That's
shoes,
true.
they got to be comfortable.
Right.
You wear no dress shoe, then notice something, you slip and the something fall on your chest. Now, I'm a strong guy. I can lift.
Right. So you know what the funny thing about it, when you were saying about your tools, I have done it all. I have been an inside plant technician or engineer, where I run cable, put it in, install it, turn it up from scratch. I have been where I used to get on a plane every Monday and go put in the networks. And I don't know if you guys know about fiber optic networks. So let me ask y'all this question, since y'all in the IT field. How do routers communicate with each other?
As far as what, the protocols or?
No. How do a router, okay, so let's say we got a local area network or a wide area network. And you got a router in Atlanta, and then you got a router in Dallas. How do they communicate?
It won't be a local, will be a WAN, not a LAN.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Oh, I said a wide area network. Yeah, WAN.
Yeah.
So how do they communicate with each other?
Normally,
I find a lot of IT professionals don't know this. They don't know what makes a router talk to each other, and it makes me laugh. So I'm asking you guys, if you got a router in
I would not have you on the network side. I'm guessing most of these particular servers, rather than fiber optic, have a fiber optic connection on the back end.
Have a what?
A fiber optic connection on the back end.
Right. They go through a transport.
I've been in the room a lot of time, and I see that one unique connection, and I ask
called
the fiber optic connection. They say this.
Right. It's a transport
to the next server on the next location. I think,
right. It's transport. So what it is fiber optics. It goes under the ground. So that's what I was telling you. It's called DWDM, dense wave multiplexing. That's what I was telling y'all about. So what we do, we take your signal, we multiplex it on the fiber, send it across, and then we have this transponder and we demultiplex it and send it to the routers. So a lot of people don't understand that. They think the IT industry is just CCNA, but it's not. The IT industry comprised of everything: routers, fiber optics, video, streaming, all that. So when people be like, "Oh, I got my CCNA," okay, so how do your router communicate with the other router? It just talks to it. No, it goes across a transport path, which is fiber optics. And a lot of people don't understand that. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there was something that I had an argument with certain people about that CCNA certification. People make it seem like it's so. I said, no, it's not that easy. Without somebody told me you have to have some groundwork experience first before you jump on that certification.
Yes.
You just using the certification thing that will get you a job. It doesn't work. You have a special teacher in my trade who came in and broke it down based on different. So say CCNA is the tricky one. You had to have at least, if I'm correct, 4 to 7 years of experience in the networking field before you take the CCNA, so at least you have a better understanding. Because once you have that CCNA and you have the experience to back you up, you're able to get a job either compared to one who just went to school just to get it with no experience whatsoever. Am I correct?
You're correct. So, and that's what I'm pointing out. So like in our industry, we need a lot of optical engineers now, because because everybody is going towards the IT, CCNA, CCNP, CCIE. They're getting all that, but they're not getting optical engineer certified as in how. So like a DW&DM network is pretty much like a router, pretty much. So, but it uses transponders. It uses ROADMs, which is reconfigurable optical add-drop multiplexers. So what that does, it takes the signal and goes to wherever customer that you need to go to. And we also use that for video. We use that for voice. We use that for streaming. So it's all different parts. They all work in unison together, you know? And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things like why we do this podcast is just to, you know, get a better overview of what, because IT in itself is just not top layer stuff.
Right.
You know, it's not the guy with the laptop. You got, you know, infrastructure, you got what you do. So it's just more than just top level stuff.
Well, you got 7 OSI layers. Y'all know what those are, right? Okay.
Yep.
OSI. So you got 7 OSI layers. You got. Let me see if I know them when I think of it, but we on this.
You know it when you see it, but when it comes down to like going off the top of your head, like
Well, you know, you got layer 1 is physical. Layer 2 is. Let me think about this physical network. Yeah, layer 2 is network.
That was one to beat me down to A+.
Right.
I had to study that there.
No, it's
OSI level.
No, but we got a saying though, like, you know, like something with pizza or whatever. But I know the 7 is the section layer. But anyway, all of them break down to different things. Like layer 4 is your transport layer, which is where you send your transport on your BGP, on your routers and your different things like that. And then your most important layer are your physical layers, are like layer 1. So, because that's how you communicate your transport through the fiber optics. Because without fiber optics, you couldn't have routers, you wouldn't have video, you wouldn't have streaming, you wouldn't have none of that. So,
yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into.
I think the next question would be the pros and cons, because
let's talk about the pros and cons.
What you just mentioned to me is something that you're totally correct. We need more people in that particular field, because this pandemic proved a point why people in your position highly needed, and they need it more than ever, because now everybody's home, everybody using Netflix, everybody doing streaming, everybody doing all this stuff, and the amount of I can't even say it, but the amount of workload that you put on the network,
right?
You got to notice things.
Do you know how much extra bandwidth I put in during this? Like 20 terabits of bandwidth during this pandemic. And the good thing about being in this industry is pandemic proof, and sometimes it's recession proof. It just depends on what company you work for. Now, if you're a contractor, no, it's not. But if you're a full-time employee, yes, it could be. No, so. And I wouldn't advise nobody to be a contractor that's in our age range, because you need benefits for your family. But go ahead with the next question.
So I know in New York, how we do it here is just most jobs, you start off as a contractor first. You know, you get, because every company is different, and majority of big companies, they don't want to like just hire somebody off the bat just in case they don't work out. So they start you off as a contractor first, see how you do. And then from there, you know, if they like you and like what you do, they'll bring you on as a full-time employee. That's how I pretty much got my job at my current firm.
You say that, you say that, right? But that 90 days that they are screening you, that's your contract. They could decide after that 90 days if to let you go or not. So they could bring you on full time, give you your benefits once you start. And then after that 90 days, if you're not performing up to their standards, they can let you go.
Yeah.
To me, when you bring somebody on as a contractor, the contracting agency is getting over. So let's say, example, you bring somebody on as a contractor, you pay the company's paying the contracting agency $300 an hour for you. And then you get about maybe $30, $40,
something like
$40 an hour.
Yeah.
So they putting $260 in their pocket. but they can bring you on making $70, $75 an hour and save a lot of money by not contracting. See, a lot of companies contract because they don't want to pay benefits. That's why they contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
another thing, I think you jumped into a little bit about a further episode that I'm thinking about further out is I believe that everybody in our industry, including people like us, we need to know how to fully, talk and negotiate for ourselves.
Yes.
Because you could actually cut out that agency, keep majority of that money, and then pay for some, independent, insurance and still be good.
Yes.
So you don't need that temp agency or whatever consultant agency, as long as you know how to negotiate.
Right. You could become could become an independent contractor and do a 1099. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Because nowadays there's actually insurance out there. You could pay for insurance as an independent worker.
Right.
Yep. And it's still up to par as most of the major insurance that you're getting from big companies.
Correct.
So I think that's one of the things we gotta kind of work on more, is just learning how to negotiate for ourselves, not relying on that company to pocket majority of that money and then just give you crumbs along the way. You could pocket that money for yourself.
Yes.
Or
yes.
have an IT union. But I've been saying that for years. We don't have a union.
Well, we did back in the day, but it's certain companies that still have it. Like AT&T still have theirs. Most of the Bell companies still have the unions. So, yeah.
I think Verizon has a union.
Yeah,
also.
Verizon has a union. Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the companies still have the unions.
Okay.
I've been researching it for a while. I never knew that they had it because I've been asking the same question. Like, new reporter have their own union all across the board. Construction worker have their union, or the mechanic have their union. It's out there, but when you come to IT, it's like I hear quick at that time. Like, where the IT union are? Who are they?
Yeah. But
you also got to realize that most big companies don't really want to work with unions,
right?
So, stuff like Verizon and things like that. Yeah, there's a need for a union because that's a lot of majority of back end infrastructure work.
Right.
So I could understand that, but when it comes to like the front end, if you're saying, "Oh, I need my break fix guys to be in a union," most companies are going to look at you like they're not really doing backbreaking work. So
no,
the average.
That's what we'll say until when you're not paying attention, they have you going through hoops and then some. Because I did it. We did work in the same building, me and Marvin, but I was working for one of the biggest fashion corporates at Estee Lauder. I was being running to the ground for low pay. I was doing things that I didn't realize I was not supposed to be doing. I was doing a manager workload on top of my workload, and I've been a smart hand and feet.
Yeah, smart.
I heard about it. These network tech would not do their job. They'll call me to drop my workload to do their job for them remote, but they're working remotely and they collect the ticket and they get paid for that. But I don't get paid for the work. But I got to drop my workload just to help them with this. I'm like, what's all this all about?
But do you know, when I started in the industry, we didn't have smart hands. I was the smart hand. I did everything. So what would happen is the NOC or the QAG group would call me up and say, "Hey, I got an OC3 down. Can you go troubleshoot?" And I had the knowledge enough to go troubleshoot the OC3. But nowadays, these ISP engineers or these techs or these smart hands, they don't have experience in troubleshooting equipment. So we have to tell them how to troubleshoot equipment. And I think that's where the industry went wrong, when they didn't let people go learn stuff on their own. Because, see, I've been in the industry since we used to have to replace resistors and transistors and stuff on a card to get it.
I remember that era because I went to Job Corps about that. And back then, I'll see people, instead of replacing them by the new motherboard, they have it more the solder iron. They plate the capacitor by themselves. They would play, and I was like, that was real OG technician. There was no one buying a whole motherboard. You just buy the capacitor, buy the resistor, got the solder iron, you get to work.
Right. And nowadays, you just
I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah.
They need to bring that skill trade back.
Yeah.
But I think that's more some soldering. Soldering is a art, definitely, but I think it's just more something that you can learn on your own
Right.
nowadays.
Right.
Because there's tons of YouTube videos on soldering alone. There's the electronic soldering pen. There's the old school soldering gun. So
yeah,
but yeah, I do feel like that's something that really needs to be brought back in the industry.
But that was old A plus back then, to be honest.
Yeah.
The old A plus book, they would actually
Yeah.
teaching technicians how to do that first before they decide to say, we don't need to do that no more. That's obsolete. And I was like, why? And all of a sudden, that be replaced by something else. And we look at the A plus book of the yesteryear tonight, it has been going through a lot of changes. What would be the new standards? So I mean, scratch my head. It would get a point at a time that you need to stop doing it. You need to get people back to the nitty gritty, know how to do certain things, because the blue collar workers, I think IT is blue collar, not white collar, but sometimes you fall in between both sides of the fence. If you think about it.
Well, when you get on a certain level, like system design, implementation, project management, those are white collar workers. But when you're an inside planner, or you're a tech, or you're running fiber out in the field, or you're running cable on a telephone pole, that's a blue collar job. So
makes sense.
Nice.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's what I'm saying. When you come to IT, it could be on both sides of the fence. It depends on the position, like you said. This makes sense.
Right.
The next question is more likely this: why would you encourage anybody to take the path you took in the IT field? Like, what do you think would be a benefit for them? In your own view.
In my own view, experience. Experience is the best teacher. So get into a cable company, or get into a IT company, or a telecom company on an entry level, and build yourself up from there. Take a couple of courses before you do it. Learn protocols, learn signal flow, learn the theory behind what you're doing. And see, that's what I noticed in today's industry. A lot of guys don't know what the theory behind what they're doing. They just replace a car. Okay, why did you replace that car? I don't know. They don't look at the performance monitoring to see, okay, I was getting a loss of signal here, or I was getting a loss of character here, or I was getting an AIS, which is the incoming information system, which will show you exactly what's wrong. So usually if you get that means you got a problem at the next node over. The different things. Learn the theory behind what you're doing, and seeing the guys that came up when I came up in this industry, we learned theory. So you could tell me, hey, Mike, my amp is down here and it's not communicating with the router, blah, blah, blah. What you think is wrong? And I could tell you off my head because I know the theory behind it. So, and I think that's in any field, you need to learn a theory. IT help desk, IT routers, IT software, learn the theory behind what you're doing.
Yeah. Nice. So just to touch on that a little bit, the theory, I think what it is right now is just the industry is just trying to fill a lot of bodies as possible, and which is a good thing, but at the same time, it's not, a lot of us are not getting in there, Right. A lot of people of other ethnicities are getting in, but when it comes to us, we're not getting into that. We're not being thrown in that pile of, hey, we need to get in there also, because the image of technology is just, there is no image, to be honest.
Right.
Well,
we need to help each other. We need to help each other.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love. One of the questions y'all asked me, what did I take pride in being in this field? And I said mentoring others, mentoring junior subordinates, because, and then you could bring somebody in that way, So.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That'll lead to the next question about who was your mentor. Because I remember my mentor, we call him Mr. B. He was a military guy. He was from the Navy. I have respect for a lot of the military guys. He didn't have this thing, he had a phrase. He said, military guys don't make mistakes. But if you ever caught me in mistake and you explain why you don't mistake and you elaborate, I give you extra credit. Now, me, I like to take a challenge. When he said that, I looked him in the face. I said, "You sure about that? If we catch you in a mistake, if we document it and say what you think was wrong, you give us our question." He said, "Yes." So 4 of us, we all come into class like hawks. We were waiting to catch anything he say, any word. The one time he did it, we caught onto it. We wrote it down. We went back to the book. We made sure he document everything. So the next day he came to class, we brought it with attention. He said, "Women take that look. You say yourself, if we catch you, if we document it," so he brought his statement and we brought in the book with a show. Now, he was shocked that we caught on to it. So he gave me and the 3 other guys extra credit to our final. Everybody was mad. But y'all didn't do the work. They did the work. They went down, got everything documented, they got on point, showed me the report, showed me their proof. And he said he liked that. He said, "This is how you want to be in the IT field. You can't be waiting for something to fall in your lap. You have to hunt it down." So I think that was something about him that got me so hungry in the field, because you can ask Marvin, I'm a workhorse. Anything that needs to get done, I'm going in, get my hand dirty. I'm going to figure out what the problem is. I'm going to document it down to the T. I would explain to you from step 1 all the way to the last step, how we got it fixed, how to work about it, to work about, and have it documented. So in case it ever happen again, you got something to fall back on. So he got me that way.
Yeah.
Who was your mentor?
So, my mentor in the military was this guy, my leading petty officer, Rocho. So when I went down to the telephone office, he told me, he said, "Hey, I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to show you everything about the switches. I'm going to show you everything about DWDM. I'm going to show you everything." And that's what he did. And then my master chief also was a mentor. And in the civilian sector, my first mentor was my best friend today, 20 years. He was my supervisor at AT&T, and he was my mentor. So, in this field. So, and then from there, more senior C-level people were my mentor, and mostly ladies. So,
That's what's up.
Okay. That's good. All right. So what would you consider yourself to be? Would you think of yourself as a nerd or something else? Tell me what comes to mind.
I told you already, a corporate thug.
Corporate thug?
Yeah, I like that theme because I'm a nerd. I'm not going to lie. I geek out heavy. When you come to electronic, gadget, the latest motherboard, the latest processor, I'm going to compare. You have the argument, which is better, AMD or Intel, NVIDIA or the... This
But
leads to hours of argument, and you got to get why their point of view. So I like to pick people's brain and see their point of view, because to me, you can't be in IT if you have not been invested in it.
Right.
I'm not going to brush with it and say, "Oh, I'm in IT." No, I'm going to call you out. Have you built a PC before? What have you done? What have you built? Yeah. You say, "I got a Mac." Get out of here. That don't count.
Well, I built computers when I was younger, but, as I explained to you before, you do this all the time, and you're on computers and you're troubleshooting and all that. Once you get off of work, you don't want to see a computer again. You don't want to see that no more. You might get you might look at a YouTube video, but I don't even like playing video games no more. I play the old school video games like Space Invaders, Asteroid, Centipede. But when it comes to that Madden and all that, I'll play Madden, but I'm not into Madden. Not into Call of Duty and none of that stuff. I got a PlayStation 4 as a placeholder. That's a couple of
I get it, because I'm not into Madden. I'm not into Call of Duty. I'm into the one that pick your brain. I like to get a challenge, because when I built my PC, just for the sake of what can I get out of my PC? Can I play the type of high level game, or can I do a little mess around with the software, rendering and stuff like that? Those kind of things I want to get myself into. Like game development right now, I think that's the next channel that a lot of young people are jumping in. They think that's all that's into it. They think there's anything else besides game development. They want to do it, but I get why they're doing it, because of the money. Just like the next question coming out, like, what will you tell the people who want to do what you do for a living? Like he just mentioned earlier.
I would say start in high school. I would even say start in junior high. If you have a God's love for it, or you have, if that's something you love to do, start junior high, start in high school. My older brother is pretty much what got me into this industry. I used to see him play with things, build computers, do all different type of stuff. And I was like, I want to do that, and since then, like I said, as a guy given talent, I tried to walk away from it before, but I got right back into it. So, you know.
Nice. Okay. So what made you want to walk away from it? Was it something you just got tired of it, or?
I just got tired of it. So I did walk away, and I went to like SDSL side of the house. It still was in telecommunication, but it was more of what is DSL? Digital something. That's so old. It's an old technology. So when I came back into so when I left, OC48 was a big box. You know, so what OC48 is DS3s. I'm sure y'all heard of those. A DS3, a DS1, a T1.
Oh, T1. Okay.
Yeah,
I've
T1,
yeah.
T3. So when I walked away, it was a big box, tall as me. When I came back, it was on a card. So that lets you know how much technology had changed. So
yeah. I think nowadays they don't call it T1s or T3s anymore. It's just whatever bandwidth you purchase from the ISP.
Right.
You know,
like Ethernet. They call it Ethernet today.
Yeah.
Or OTU2, OTU4. You know, like an OTU2 is 10G, OTU4 is 100G, and then you can go 400G, which is OTU4C4. So those different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bandwidth.
But it still goes through like some do a fiber optics.
Right.
Some do it through a cable box. Yeah.
Right. Most stuff goes through fiber optics or cable boxes or Ethernet or RJ45s. Those different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's dope. So let's talk about, your hobbies. What are you into?
Oh, I like riding motorcycles, and I like watching a lot of sports. You know, I don't get any, and I work out maybe 3-4 times a week. You know, so
okay.
Yeah.
So do you fix the motorcycles, or you just ride them?
Just ride them. That's it.
Just ride them.
I ain't fixing nothing.
Okay.
I just ride.
Yeah, when you fix stuff pretty much all day, every day, you don't want to come home to something you got to fix again.
Nope.
All right, it's cool. I understand you. All right, so let's talk about.
Let me ask this question: seeing the growth taking place within the IT field, what is your view concerning the future in the field? Because I'm not gonna lie, I watch the growth, I watch the changes. I feel like some feel they take it for granted, some feel they're looking down on like it's not much needed, but it's heavily needed.
Yes.
What do you think about those?
I feel in the IT field that they're focusing too much on CCNA, CCNP, and all that. I feel they need to focus on the optical industry part of it, because pretty much a transport platform is a router these days. Everything is in conjunction with each other. So I feel that different certifications should cover both industries, or not cover routers. So yeah, we got a lot of people that's coming out now, CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, no software engineers. But what they don't realize, if you oversaturate that field with them, and then the optical engineering field doesn't have anybody, like I get people contacting me all the time for jobs because we do not have enough people in our industry. I mean, it's lacking off, and I would like a lot of the young people to go in there, and that's why I was giving y'all the different recommendations, like OCA, do the OCA course, do the OCP course. You could do the CCNA course. I mean, an optical engineer walking into my company can start off 60 to 80,000 entry level. So, that's what a lot of people have to do. And that's what I'm thinking. The focus is going away from, okay, why do a router talk to another router? How does it get across the backbone? Yeah. Those different things. So that's what I feel that they're going away from, and just getting more into router. And that's going to get saturated. And then you're going to have a point when you ain't going to have no more optical engineers, and you ain't going to be able to communicate no more. So.
I think it's just, the marketing, because when you think about it, it's like nobody talks about the back end infrastructure guy.
No.
It's always, I want to do code. I want to write software.
Right.
But when it comes down to who's truly on the back end, making all these servers talk to each other,
Yep.
I'll be in New York. what I'm connecting to a Netflix server in California.
Right.
That's where the marketing needs to go. Like,
Right.
we need people for that.
Right.
So that doesn't happen automatically. I mean, we're not there yet, but we still
it's
need
not
people.
not there. I think, like you were saying, totally correct. They don't put too much empathy on it. Do what I keep saying about the IT arena. They make it seem like this the right path and this on the right path, and forget about all these multiple paths that need to be filled out, like he just said already. Because if everybody tries to get the CCNA, CCNP, and whatever, everybody chasing software engineering, what about the other part of IT that need to be holding together? You cannot overlook those things.
Right.
Like, they watered down that at the point. Oh, we're not gonna use PT. Like, okay, you're not gonna use PT, but your infrastructure cannot support what you expect it to do. So how you expect all this to work when you put the cart before the horse?
Right.
Mm.
Right. And that's what a lot of people
one of
don't
my biggest
understand.
argument. They're overlooking all the other arena in IT. Everything with cut of each factor in IT is needed. Not just one and leave the rest out. When you do that, like you say, optical, if that's not worked out, Netflix is trying to throw out people account because there's too many people at home watching Netflix. What's equating that problem? What about the infrastructure? What about the wiring?
Right.
You don't have fiber optic across the country like that to this day.
Right. Because even if they went to satellite, even if they went to microwave, you're still going to have a ground transport that you're going to have to jump on. So that's like a lot of satellite companies. They're like, oh, yeah, we get the satellite, but what they don't realize is you got your downlink, you got your uplink. So when you downlink, it hits the ground terminal, jump on some type of optical equipment to transport to the next site. So, and with a microwave, if you got a tree in front of a microwave, it's going to block, because most of microwave is line of sight 30 miles.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And that's what I'm telling people. You need to learn optical. You need to learn the infrastructure. You need to learn all this. This is what makes a router communicates with the DWD equipment to transport across the path, to go across the fiber, multiplex those waves out, like you was talking about, those Ethernet waves, and then communicate with the equipment. That's how Netflix work. That's how Amazon work. That works. That's what I meant to say. AWS, anything. That's how all these companies work. Cable, all this stuff. AT&T, you know how they say, oh, I got the biggest wireless backbone in the world. Fiber optics. So
now I'm going to throw you an audible. Now that you did mention that, and they're trying to pass that infrastructure bill, do you think they can emphasize more on what you do for a living and have people in your field more instead of all these other fields? Because since they realize the infrastructure of the country is falling apart, and you can just keep it as it is. Well, let's say you're the guy to reach out to and go to pitch I'm not saying a bill, but I'm trying to look for that exact words. Like, you try and convince them to open a school for this type of small field so you can have more people to work on the infrastructure back end. What will you pick them to do?
I would pitch them to learn everything when it comes to infrastructure, like from the routers to fiber optics, to the optical, to project management, to implementation management, to a product technical, I forgot what it's called, manager, all those different things. I would have them do all that, because you need all those fields in order to do this job, in order to communicate. So, for instance, like the rural areas, their infrastructure bill is going to help them with fiber optics. They didn't have that out there before, but now they're going to have it. They'll be able to stream and all that. So before, in the rural areas, all they had was DSL, which was a T1 pretty much.
Yeah.
Coming over a cable line, so this is going to help a lot of people. So this thing is going to be good. It's just not building bridges. It's going to build networks also. So.
Okay. Yeah, we touched into that on a past episode. Like, everybody thinks it's just, bridges and stuff like that, but there's rural areas that are still on dial-up.
Yes.
And that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Still got AOL.
Still.
I said just that a few episodes ago. I'm like, funny that in this certain time, 2022, people using AOL to create. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Or they can't even go past, 15 megs. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what UBS built. Remember we worked with UBS in 2011, 2012, and they were still behind the curve. And we're like, you got to be kidding. You tell me you haven't upgraded the switches on this? Like, you want to put Adobe through the network and take almost 2 to 3 hours to download.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And imagine trying to play your PlayStation with another person in another state on a dial-up. It won't work because you don't have enough bandwidth. It won't work.
Don't even have.
You need at least 40.
The average game size. The average game size right now is over probably 2 gigs.
Right. Right. So you need at least 40 megs to play it.
Yeah.
To stream.
After game time now, let's say you're going to play it using Blu-ray DVD. You talk about between 15 to 20 gigs. That's number one. Then when you're on the network, you notice the lagging, whereby either your network speed is up and that person is moving slow and you're moving past them, or something happened with the connection with both server, which he mentioned that before, whereby you already respond, but it's not reactive because the network on the server you on, it's not responding to the other server, so they're able to attack you quicker than you can able to attack them. So it's everything that's factored in on the infrastructure of the country, because I keep saying this, you can't have too many business people talking to IT, telling them how they probably get their job done when they're overlooking things, they're cutting corners around. Like Citrix. You mentioned all these things. They want you to use Citrix. They want you to use VMware.
Man, Citrix,
but
that's
you
so
have thank you. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Bruh.
You want us to jump on VMware, Citrix, and all this virtualization, but the network, the switches, the bound, we haven't built on that one first. I want to jump ahead when this has not been updated yet.
No. See, this is the thing. A lot of companies, for instance, like you're saying, Citrix is so old, but a lot of companies are still using that. Just like also a lot of companies are using Excel spreadsheets instead of using a Remini database. You know, those different things. You need Java. You know, it's a lot of different softwares that you can use today that will make your network faster. But Citrix was back in the day when we was doing S's. Y'all know the BBS.
I'm glad you mentioned it, because if you were to hear this say that, people would not believe what we're talking about. You need to understand the background of what these things. This is why we need to have these type of interviews so people from multiple arena of IT can start affecting people's mind that this is not a game no more.
Right.
You can't expect things to work a certain way when we're still working on old technology. I remember working at Elmer Hospital. You're still using not Windows. This other platform, I forgot what it is. After A+, you have
DOS?
Not DOS.
Basic?
It's a login and use.
C++?
Novell.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Novell was the bomb, but they got killed by Microsoft. So
yes.
So imagine one hospital got in trouble for still having Novell within their network. They said you're supposed to pull it out.
Yeah.
So imagine seeing that kind of thing. You start to scratch and like, what's going on here? Multiple companies, like you said, it's old, extremely old, but it's using heavily today.
Right.
Use that thing like crazy.
Yeah.
No one want to update.
I think Novell is still around, but they're not popular anymore in the corporate arena.
No, Linux is more popular in the corporate arena now. A lot of companies use Linux. So
MTA use Citrix. A lot of big corporations use Citrix with a mixture with VMware. They're trying to have more people log into the virtual desktop and have less machine. I'm like, yeah, but what if having your network dropped of too much workload you put on it? Like,
well, you know, if your network dropped,
they'll probably ask you the question, because sometimes these things don't make no sense. But when we tell them,
but you know, if your network dropped, you don't have enough bandwidth.
Yeah,
pretty much. So,
what's your question, Marvin? What do you have for him?
All right, so let's talk about. We've all been through this. Since you're working in the IT field, let's talk about an encounter you've had with racism. We know it's there. You know, it is what it is. So, good, bad, ugly.
Right. Yeah. It is there. Promotions. You run into that all the time.
Yeah.
So it is there. You just have to handle it. It is there, trying to get promoted, and you have to be 10 times better than the other person. So
yep,
you have to be more educated than the other person. So it is there.
So can you go into the encounter a little bit? If you don't want to, is okay.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, it is there.
Yeah, we know it's there. It's just the fact of there's just not enough of us in the industry to open doors for others to come along.
Well, but I always say this: it's not what you know, it's who you know.
True. Okay.
I mean, you can have.
But yeah, it's just so
you can have.
Seeing how you don't want to go into it, which is okay.
Right.
How did you deal with it?
Honestly, you can just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's no company loyal to you, so why should you be loyal to them? So
yeah,
you can always. And the best time to find a job is when you got a job. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to recognize you for your talents, even if your previous company is not recognizing you for it. Because, you can go into another company and they were like, wow, you could do all this for us, wow, we needed this, so.
Yeah.
And I have been a plank owner for like a couple of companies that I worked for and was there and made a good impact on the company, so. And then they got acquisition.
Okay.
And then they got bought out. So,
yeah. All right. So,
I'll ask this question: what was the most iconic moment you ever experienced working in the IT field ever since you've been there?
The most iconic moment. The most iconic moment I experienced working in IT when I used to work for a vendor where I used to bring up networks and design networks from scratch. And what I mean, leave out on a Monday, have my technicians go and rack and stack the equipment and turn up a 13 node network that's communicating across 13 different sites in 4 days. Those were some iconic moments. So you would test, turn up, and then build a circuit for the customers, and then give them the network. That was iconic, And another iconic was where we had somebody who wanted to get off a right of way in New York, where you at, because it's expensive, and building a new site to mirror the site that we wanted to get off of. That was an iconic moment. So I had a lot of iconic moments in my career.
That's dope.
And
that's dope.
And what? Hold on, I got one more. I got one more thing. One of the most iconic moments is mentoring younger people. Seeing when they came into the company, there was anyone or they were engineer, and then as they move up during the ranks, because you taught them so much, to see them progress through the ranks and become NE3s or whatever. So that's a good thing. That's a good iconic moment. Just sharing your knowledge. Dope. Sharing your knowledge is an iconic moment, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely love doing that. When I see anybody young like me coming in, you want to just pour that knowledge into them and just watch them take it and just run with it.
Right.
I think that's one of the aspect of our industry. When you see people like us that's up there with the knowledge, they'll give it to you regardless of asking for it or not.
Right.
So,
and I did that a lot. Me and Marvin worked at UBS. I was the trainer. So every tech that came in, I went under my umbrella and I boot camped them through. I'm talking about from top to bottom. I'm trying to make sure they were efficient and they were effective. You ain't missing nothing. So at one point, this happened. He noted about it. They want multiple teams to come help out with the Manhattan location UBS to help install 130 or 140 terminals. I told the manager, you don't need that many people. You need like less than maybe 9 or 10. That's about it. No, we need about 20, 30 people. I think, I'm sorry, it's not going to look good for you if you do that. He didn't care, so I told my team, I'm going to make a bet. Whoever comes to pass my number of deployment, I give you $20. Now, me, I did that on purpose to show the other team that you didn't properly train your team. So we got on the floor. Marvin heard about it. My team knocked out more than 60% of the tournament that need to be put up, more than all the other team combined.
That's
I did
awesome.
about 20 deployment. Two of my top men, right hand, left hand men, were doing about 15. They were trying to catch up with me. The rest took the minutes left. So we took about almost maybe 60 or 70 out of the one. And they were shocked. They're like, why are they moving so fast? I say, I taught them the rope. I want to make sure my team is the most effective and the most efficient. They know how to get the job in and out and without wasting time. They know exactly what needs to be done. Get to work, knock it out, keep it moving. So when they saw my team moving, just flying off the handle, they were scared. So the APA executive came to the side and shaking, I love the way your team. I think, no, it's no big deal. It's what we do for a living. My manager over there squeezing his hand like he heard it. I embarrassed. I warned him. Yeah. You don't need too many people.
You made him look good.
So I thought, okay, I could give you that one. We're awakening. And I would tell I don't play around. If I train you, I'm pouring everything into you. I want you to be better than me. When you do better, I do better.
Right.
And passing out to the next generation, because I want the new generation of people coming in the IT field to be hungry for it and not be under equipped. I want them to be well equipped coming in, knocking out of the ballpark.
That's what I was telling you. Theory. You need to know theory. You teach them that theory, that makes your job easier. So,
correct. Marvin, any questions?
No, I don't got any questions.
Okay. I'm trying to hold my geek stuff in. I'm enjoying this.
Go ahead. If you got questions, go ahead.
I got one question because it's opposite of the iconic moment. Like, what the moment that got you feeling some humble and make you realize you're in the right field, in the right place? Like, it kind of like open your mind and say, this is where I need to be in. Like, you know how you have that moment? It was so humbling.
Yeah.
It makes you see clear, like, I made the right choice.
Yeah. When I was at AT&T, and when I seen that I could build things and build networks and run fiber and bring up circuits, I mean, you got to think about it. That's awesome when you see that you bring something to life. Like, for instance, at AT&T, when I was there, and this was when I was like 31 years old, we built a 4-node ring that communicated it was an E-Trade node, and this is on old equipment, FT2000 OC48s, but we built a 4-node OC48 ring, me and my partner, that had Atlanta communicating the whole time. I mean, we built an 81-mile ring. I mean, that was awesome. And that's when I was like, man, this is awesome, so.
Nice.
Nice. That, to me, that's a big achievement because this is what I tell people. When you get into IT, you will have that one humble moment every will wake up and say, you know what? I made the right choice to be in this field. This is something I can really enjoy doing. There's not you can do what we love to do, make the money, feel comfortable, come home. Without a lot of shenanigans.
Quality of life, like I told you.
It's all quality of the life you're living, what kind of life you're giving to your family. Mm-hmm. Going to work to make mad money, do what you love to do, come home, you can just unwind, relax, get with whatever hobby you want to get to. I know you say you like to ride bikes, you like to do other activities. But in IT, did it make you engage in a new hobby you never thought you'd get yourself into?
No. Just, I've always been a big sports enthusiast. So I always liked football, basketball, tennis. I got into hockey when Tiger Woods started playing in hockey. I mean, not hockey, golf. So, just enjoying sports in general, going to see live sports. I like concerts, live concerts, those different things. So just because you do a job for a living that is not something that you're going to want to do when you get off of work, because you do this all day. Think about it. You do it all day. So you get off work, you want a brain dump. You want, I mean, that's what I do day to day. I think of how to design a network, how to troubleshoot it, how to implement it, how to make it work. So when I get off of work, I don't want to think about this stuff no more until the next day when I go to work.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's another aspect too that we need to work on is just leaving work at work.
Right.
Some people, it depends. If you got to be on call and monitor the network 24/7,
right,
then yeah, you got to bring it home. But sometimes you just got to leave work at work, knowing that there's somebody else there to deal with it.
I think the problem is depending on the company now, like when you get off work, you put that in the little box, you close it, it's for work. Now, make it what I want to get into. Like, to me, I got into gaming, I got into anime, it's very relaxing for me. Now, a peer of mine was like, why don't I get into Gunpla? I said, I don't have the space for Gunpla because if I could have my own, I'm in New York, 2-bedroom apartment. I want to move down south, get a 4-bedroom apartment. I can have my own space. Then I can get into the Gunpla, building my own stuff.
Right. Building your case, Gunpla plate. Yeah.
I want to even have my own freedom. I could just unwind and enjoy what I'm doing with my own creativity. Because I should watch on NCIS, one of my favorite shows.
Mine too.
And McGee, he took time to build his own boat. He took time. He doesn't care how long it took him, and he enjoyed the moment.
Right.
So when I see him, that thing flicked in my head. I want to be able to be in a place where I could just enjoy the moment and build on what to build. It had nothing to do with the computer, but I enjoy what I'm doing.
Right.
Take my time with it.
Yeah. And another hobby that I like, just like you said, I love NCIS. I love Criminal Minds. Any law and order. I love that. I love all those different things. So, that's what I enjoy doing. Chicago PD. So I love the different criminal programs that make you think. And, I love NCIS because I was Navy. So I love to see them. I was so upset when they took NCIS New Orleans off of TV because that was awesome. So
I mean, that was one of the best series ever because you can see how they everything was methodical and was properly planning how to look into it. And even the boss, he lets you know. You got to think the way he thinks. He's showing you how he does it. You got to be very methodical. Everything you look, it leads to one thing. You got to understand how to calculate to go to the next theme. Like, okay. So this how he be solving these crimes. He keep looking at things a certain way, like he take noise just to go come out something later on. And everything about this series, if you watch it from start to beginning, it's like every clue he finds, it leads to another clue from another crime.
Yeah.
And like, how did he see that?
Agent Gibbs and Pride. They were smart. So.
And of every other more Law and Order show, I was feeling it, but it's not as good at NCIS yet. To me, NCIS is number one to me.
Oh, me too.
The way they stood out,
I agree.
It was on point. That's why I love that show because they're disciplined, they're methodical about what they're doing. They wasn't so sloppy. Everything was on for a particular reason. When they find something cool, even though it hadn't related to the crime, it lead to the next crime, and they know exactly where to come. I'm like, how do you know it would be this guy? Like, how did he see from a distance? And I seen backstories. Why he thought about it. I was like,
Well, let's think about it like this. Those shows have something to do with what we do. We find the issue. We go through all the symptoms of it, what it could be, the different theories of what it could be, and then we solve the problem. So I guess that's why we like those shows because, like I like FBI. I like all the FBIs because I like the way how they solve the crimes. So the profiling.
You're
right.
right.
The profiling. That's why I like criminal.
You're right about that. How you solve problem, how you solve crime, it's so simple. You look at the theory, you look at what will create this problem, what will cause that problem. You want to test your theory till you're correct about it and make sure you analyze it and you document everything down to the T. That's how I approach my job. When I see certain things, I want to analyze them like, nah, let me write this one down. This don't come out right. Then start going to your own theory, start to test things out and see what it lead to. I think that's why this IT field, what I love about it, it keeps my brain hungry and more energized. I don't have to feel dumb every day. I don't have to feel like I'm not learning. I want to learn something new. When you do that, it makes you feel young again.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
And what I love about this industry, we always constantly learning. We constantly learning on a day-by-day basis. We learn something new every day. We have to go to some training. We have to learn a new platform every day or every month or every year. You got to get certified on this. And that keeps your brain boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's good. It's a good remedy against Alzheimer's, so you won't go brain dead or get dumb or just numbed out. Because I think a lot of medical doctors, no, I ask a lot of doctors about this. How do people get dementia? Or they say that the fun is lack of brain activity.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm staying in the field. I want to keep the brain up and running till I die. So I want to have no dementia. I want to keep remember everything from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I don't want to never be able to feel that I don't have control of my mental,
So I got a question for you, Michael. So you're building out these networks. What are some of your best free tools, and what are some of your best paid tools? When I mean tools, like it could be anything from physical to software level.
Yeah, I was about to give them. So some of the best free tools is like the internet, Google. You can Google anything that you want to learn.
Yeah.
Like if you want to know about DWDM, you want to know about BGP, you want to know about, that's a free tool. Some of the paid tools that you have to do is your equipment, your light meter, your power meter, your oscilloscope, your JDSU test set. Another paid tool, the different platforms that you work on, your routers, your DWDM. Now, those are paid things that you could do. You could take the CCNA course and it comes with a mock router that you could download to learn how to troubleshoot routers and how to get in routers, show interface, those different things. So when you take these courses, they always come with a mock platform that you could get in and actually learn the device on how to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
How to show what interface is, do ARP, those different things. So, it's free. It's out here for you. If you want it, you can go to YouTube and you could put in there DWDM. You could put in there BGP. They'll bring up all these videos of these people talking. Like, for instance, like with the CCNA, you could put that in there. They'll bring up a YouTube video where this guy's teaching you the course from beginning to end free. You could put DWDM. You could put what y'all do, because you pretty much do desktop, right, Black David?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you could do those different things. So.
Right. I'm glad you asked that question, because it's very interesting.
Yeah. Because I always wondered, like, what are some of the tools everybody uses and things like that. No, I think I don't have any questions. You got any questions?
The only last question we have here is just about if you have a LinkedIn profile, because
it's on there.
Michael I think this Richardson. Guy who I work with when I work in American Express, he got me on LinkedIn, and I was like, why did I get on LinkedIn? He said that is the next best thing of having an online resume. So
what?
I went took my LinkedIn profile, made it identical as my resume. But what I did not realize is the feature behind it, whereby whatever job I go to, I give recommendation. I have manager give recommendation on my job, what I've done. Then I have co-work do the thing. I got up to like almost 30 plus recommendations for multiple jobs.
Yeah.
So different people can vouch. So
yeah.
I'm not trying to be a spokesperson for LinkedIn, but for job hunting, I think LinkedIn is must either go before you got to bring up a portfolio of how many copies of resume you have to bring out.
Well, this is the thing for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good for networking also. But, you was asking me about my profile. It's my name, Michael Richardson. On like anything is my name, Michael Richardson. And I'm sure you noticed this about me, Black David. I'm old school. I don't put no fancy name. My name is my name.
And let me tell you what I call myself, Black David. Let me tell you why. When I went to the People Network, right, I show up on the channel. There's one guy before me called Black Man Unfiltered. He was before me. Then when I got on, he called me Black David. I was like, huh? I was like, what? That? And everybody was laughing. Like, it became a catchy phrase. I said, no, I'm going to grab one of that phrase and make it my own. Only one for YouTube. But on LinkedIn, everybody know me as David Olaya. I use CBN because I'm a Canadian-born Nigerian, because I use that a lot. But Are
Right.
you that at the phrase of people could think about, I'm not just one dimensional.
Right.
There's most of the dimension behind who I really am as a person. And Michael, you can see me on a different platform. I don't beat around the bush with people.
Yeah.
I
I
be
see you on
straightforward.
different.
I be honest. I be articulate about my view because of experience that I had in life.
Well,
And I realize people don't grasp it. Your life experience, it can teach you things that you never
definitely.
think you could ever think you ever will be. And you have to learn from it. Sometimes I go back and relive it in my head and see if I missed anything I didn't realize about it. And I thought, oh, this is why that happened. And I talk
Right.
about it.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell my age. I'm 55, so I'm seeing a lot, done a lot in my life, and the way that I see these kids and these young millennials today, I just like shake my head, and people get banned. Oh, you older and you feel this way because you older, you OG, and I'm like, well, at least with older people, we have wisdom to pass down. We wouldn't be telling you something unless we experience it ourselves.
And
That's
this
why
is
I
what we're
look at
doing
it.
this because I told Marvin, if we can build a trade school from all this content we have or have people who want to learn something new, because I look at American history of the yesteryear, the black community of the yesteryear was far more intelligent and more effective and efficient. Not everybody was able to go to college to get a degree. They had a trade skill where they were able to build for themselves and build a community within themselves. So I'm trying to bring that back
Right.
in a way that
Yep. I agree.
you have people who open an electronics shop that you just buy a new TV, bring the TV, they fix it, got it working better than it was before, and then some. And trying to figure out how he did X, Y, and Z because there's something people overlook. I look at
Yep.
a video from Lyman. He went to China. They got a store where people can build their own phone instead of you buying a phone.
Yeah.
And I was scratching my head like, why we don't have that in the U.S.? Oh yeah, I forgot. People are too dumbed down to go that far and do their own thing.
Actually, we do
Yeah,
have.
it's not even that. It's just when it comes to us, we're not. We always miss that technology boat.
Right.
We're always the last to jump on that technology boat.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's just we're not on it because we keep listening to too many different people
Right.
that don't have our interest in mind. So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you about this. I had a 60-inch TV. A lightning strike blew it out, so I had a warranty on it. So the guy came in, he took it apart, he put 2 motherboards in there, and got it back up. I was like, I could have did this. I said, how much did those motherboards cost? $35 a piece. He charged the company $700 to do that. It wasn't me because it was warranty, but he charged the company $700. So imagine we pay all this money for these big TVs, these big screen TVs, and all that. If you had the knowledge and the know-how, you could go out, you could buy the plastic frame, you could buy the motherboards, and build your own TV, probably for $100.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's like all this resources out here, but we keep missing the boat.
Yeah. And
So
I
we want
do
to bring
agree.
it back because if you can bring it back, trust me, it will affect them in the long run because people start to realize, you know what, you complain about all these eco waste issues. You can fix that issue a long time ago if you have people who just take things apart and put things together. Because I was going to multiple panel and talk about this channel called What Am I? The people went back to Nigeria and taught people how to recycle plastic.
Right.
And they did for X amount of years. There are a lot of major corporations find out what's going on. They moved one of their plants over there hoping to make money off the amount of recycled plastic or they got up within the first 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, plastic manufacturing, it's a big multi-billion-dollar industry, almost $1 trillion industry. But people don't know how to utilize the waste plastic that was thrown out and recycle all over again. They figure out the trick behind it. And there are 2 students from, if I remember what college, no, what not? It's not your college. They're called the Midtown Manhattan. I forgot what the name of it. Is it
New York College?
Huh?
New York College?
Not New York College. It's a CUNY college, 4-year, but it's not too far from BMC. I forgot the name of the college. Hunter College. They both came from Hunter College. Okay. Went over there, started a new program whereby all the big international corporations want to move their plant and utilize the fact that they have tons and tons of plant they're able to recycle for reusing. Other countries are catching on to it ahead of time. People are building houses in South America based on plastic bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How you think China became so powerful? They recycled majority of the world's plastic for so many years.
Yeah.
Now think about how much they were charging to recycle those plastics. So
they make most they make most of the clothes, they make most of the shoes, they make everything.
So
now they're in Africa trying to collect on natural resources.
Yeah.
But that's any company.
Yeah, any country, yeah.
That's any company.
That's any company, but they sold their debt. And they're in Nigeria right now because we have two of the first of its kind manufacturing plant that actually manufacture cars. One of them is my classmate, he does it. Took his father business and did that. Another one, he had a rival. But they're competing. But there's not any other country that's doing manufacturing of cars right now besides those two in Nigeria. Another guy who left the U.S. about 2 years ago is now doing a first of its kind Silicon Valley. And they tried to construct it over $1 billion, which is kind of crazy. But a few years ago, one that was trying to do their own ahead of time. So it's like a competition going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot taking place outside the country. I've been scratching my head too. I need to build my own capital so I can join into the team and get into the investment, let my money grow for itself. Because to me, I like to build stuff. If I can go back and teach people IT in Africa, I would do it. But I will make sure they're better than anybody else. I will make sure I will drill you to the what? One of my first instructors drilled me. Just like your own instructor drilled you, Michael. Mine did the same thing to me. He makes sure I'm effective, I'm efficient, I understand my theory, and I'm on point. So you can pinpoint what the problem is. Just look and know it, deal with the problem, and you explain how it got there and how you can fix it.
Right.
So when you train people that way, you train effective technicians to the point whereby things start popping out more quicker than you think.
Right. Yeah, because like this industry, they done dummied it down. They not training the people like they used to do, and I think that's hurting us. I think we need to train these people better than what we're doing. I think, in my opinion, I think we totally need to do away with smart hands and just start educating these people how to troubleshoot and how to run fiber and how to do routers and all that stuff. And that way they don't realize you do away with smart hands, you will save a lot of money. So.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, Marvin, because this is the first good.
No, the only thing that I gotta say is just they just need to market the industry better when it comes to the younger kids. They need to market it better.
They're not going to. I'm telling you right now, Marvin, they're not going to make it better because the way they're going about it, it's all about money. All these trade schools, there are a lot of trade schools that are not legit. They make money off the bad marketing. You have too many people jumping into the home health aid, too many people jumping into the medical field of being an RN. And how would I put it? We have so many trade schools for RN, but we don't have too many hospitals.
No.
So how you will fill up all these hospitals with X amount of nurses who are not there? And just like he said, too many people going to the CTNA. Okay, we have all that. But what about all the other fields that need to be filled up? They did that for the sake of making money off people, because trade school, they make money off the courses they make.
Yes.
They're charging you for that. Yeah, look at it.
They did that
on purpose for the sake of making money. ITT Tech fell in that scandal because they were looking, what? It's for-profit school. Right. That's why they got shut down because of that.
Yeah, they had to pay back them people.
Well, most tech schools are for profit.
Yeah,
you got to make a profit. You got to keep the lights on. You got to pay the teacher.
Yeah, that is the case. But it's not like you're building people to get job and you're not ripping them off. IT Tech was doing that on a large scale.
Yeah. So you know what? ITT Tech really got in trouble because, like he was saying, you do them student loans, right? And then you know how they try to go after your taxes because of the student loans, and that was wrong. That school was trying to do that, and they had to pay so many millions, I think even billions, back to these people that they took this money from. So
there's a lot of these for-profit schools that rip up a lot of people. and to the point where they said, "Oh, we'll hook you with a job, but when you do try to get a job, you ain't going nowhere with it." Like, and you find your degree is not college accredited at one point. These are the game they were playing. But when I was going to this field, I found people who came from overseas, and they tell me this: they already got a degree, but they don't want to take the degree. They're making the degree look like it's less than, but when it's actually not less than.
Yeah, I agree.
So there is a curriculum issue going on with American education, whereby some people decide to go outside to get education and come back, knowing that they have more of an advantage out there than over here.
But also,
yeah, I mean, those folks are going to, like, top schools or in England, like Oxford University.
Don't talk about
you get a degree from.
Don't talk about that school. You got to be a bookworm.
Yeah, you got, so that's where they're going. So, but I've always seen that. I think within New York, they put in mandate for any type of private school. You have to be accredited with New York State before you can start, handing out degrees. I remember that ITT situation, and I think the school wasn't accredited, so they made a law or something. Any private school within New York, you have to be accredited with New York. You got to teach accredited courses. So if you do get a degree, it does count for that. I don't know how they do it out of state, but I know in New York that they made that mandate. You have to be accredited school.
And a few people got caught because the courses they were giving out was not really legit. Like, they were ripping people off. I'm telling you, trade school is a big marketing thing. You could charge them X amount of money and make so much profit off it. It's not even funny. Chances is, are they going to be able to get the job with that? I got a dude who I work with. We used to work for the Board of Ed, first IT job. He got 8 certifications, including Cisco. Could not even find a real job with it.
Because you need experience.
And that's what they didn't tell them that.
And that's what I'm telling. You need experience. You need to go to some company with an entry level program or internship and do an internship at that company to get that experience, so you could be brought on full time. You're just not going to be able to come out of school and go make. And I try to tell these kids this every day. Oh, I'm gonna make $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 out of school. No, you're not. You're probably gonna make $30,000 or $40,000 out of school, and then you could build up from there. People.
And then with how many trade schools? Each trade school are giving you this so-called package deal with multiple certifications, but never telling them you need to get some experience. They did not tell them none of that. They had to go through all the courses, get all these certifications. As long as they got their money, they got what they want out of you. You got your certification to push you out. By the time you get out there, oh, I need experience. Oh, the school didn't tell you that?
And then another thing is, companies need to give these kids that's coming out of college entry-level jobs so they can get the experience. Don't just want the experience up front. Say, hey, you come in here entry-level, get the experience, and then you go up from there. So.
And I think another thing that these schools need to start teaching is proper money management. Like, you could get all these certifications and stuff like that, but when you come out, you got to learn how to manage your money. If you're not getting that, $60,000 or whatever a year, you got to learn how to manage your money. So
yeah, I agree.
Wow. This is an interesting interview. It's the first of its kind.
Yeah. So y'all asked me about my LinkedIn. It's Michael Richardson. It's just pretty much Michael Richardson.
No problem. We'll make sure you edit on the video. Maybe I'll put the word in them to put at the bottom.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is a good networking source for people, So we want to get in different industries.
You be the spearhead of this series because you go set the standard now. Everybody have to step up to your place. I'm being honest because I told Marvin this. We are doing this interview. We want people to see the faces of people in different areas in IT, what they do, how they got there, and hear from their experience and learn for themselves. Because when I went to trade school, I didn't get none of these. Only a few times I get a chance to might come to our school and break it down to us and tell us what to expect. When you talk about the networking part, when I realized, don't just rush to get Cisco. Get at least 4 to 5 years experience before you jump on it. People going out there waiting X amount of money to get Cisco so they can and can't even get a job with it. And they took out, $20, $30, $40, $80,000 student loan.
But what people don't,
I never liked the Cisco CCNA. To me, it's just you could take Network Plus and still be on a Cisco CCNA level. It's like I've never liked that certification. I just think it's just too overrated.
And another good field to get into, cybersecurity, and just like and just what you just said, Marvin, the Network Plus. That'll get you paid in cybersecurity. So yes.
Yeah, that will get you paid in cybersecurity.
Sure will.
It's just I hear so many texts, like us. Oh, I got to get that CCNA. I got to get, dude. The company itself is garbage. So I just never liked that certification. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
As long as they make their money, that's what I count.
But there's so many other certifications out there that on the equivalent or above.
Juniper.
I saw one of your questions that you did. There's Juniper.
Right.
Nobody knows about Juniper, but if you want to know about the cloud infrastructure, Juniper, they have a certification for that.
AWS.
Above CCNA.
AWS. It's one of the top ones. So, it's a lot of different
Mike,
ones.
we might have you back another day. We'll have this type of discussion because guys like you, we need them to give people the insight what's really going on. Because that's what we make this channel for.
But Black David, this time you're going to have to pay me $5. No, I'm just messing with you.
Here's my pet peeve. Being in the field for 20 years, I've never seen anything like this when people have these type of comments, sit down and talk about stuff in the field that people don't even grasp yet. They keep thinking this is what it is. When I tell people about the IT, you just sit down in front of the computer and just. If you say you in the IT, don't believe that you going behind the splicing, you implementing, you're a manager, make sure the network is running, make sure you can watch your Netflix. No one think about that.
Right.
Nope.
No one does.
No.
When I took my wife to my job, and she saw the room with a bunch of piles of laptop, and I had to take this one. She looked like, what you do? I said, I got to have all these images. When they image, they want this pile. I got to put serial numbers on these things, document it, who will be assigned to. They'll have to come here, bring the old laptop, then have to log into the new laptop. Then while they're on their own laptop, they'll be on the network, on the table right here, back all the stuff to that. She was like, I said, yeah, do what I do. Ain't no just, it's not that.
That's why I said the marketing is not there, man. The people don't even understand about, data disposal. Data disposal is high priority. X amount of hard drives need to be shredded and destroyed.
Right.
You need to document it before it goes through the shredder, and it needs to be verified once it gets shredded. So,
that's one part. What about the one you cannot shred? Yeah, you got to get that for the FTC to look through it. You got to have a box of a hard drive that's so heavy you got to put on a damn pallet. Like,
hit it with a hammer. Hit it with a hammer. Destroy it. That's what we used to do in the Navy. In the Navy, when we used to destroy our crypto devices, we'd just beat them with a hammer and beat the hell out of them, beat everything down. So that way nobody could get, like in today's society, for instance, all these damn people that's trying to hold these company hostages with this ransomware and all this stuff, what a lot of companies don't realize is if you got a database backup, they can't hold you hostage.
Exactly. And that goes to show that there's still not enough knowledge. Like, if you got your database backed up and somebody hits you with a ransomware, why am I paying $50,000 to get it back?
Right.
I could just restore my data from last week.
Right.
I don't get that. And the fact that somebody's got to sign that check, give that okay to pay somebody, $50,000 in crypto. Come on, man. I'll just fire that person for that. Like, get out of here.
And here's the bigger part. They're not proactive when it comes to security. They're reactive.
Yeah, that's another thing. Right. The industry, people in the industry is is just reactive.
Mm-hmm. You need
server's down, or why didn't you see that the server was, giving you those signals that it's gonna go down?
Mm-hmm.
Again, proactive.
Yep.
Stop being reactive.
That happened when I was working at the NYPD 911 call center in the Bronx. They had a network crack whereby the whole entire terminal the server that had in the Bronx went down. They were panicking. Now, me, I just, okay, what need to be do? The chief of police of that division called me. Said, make sure everybody log on. I said, no problem. I'll take care of it. I'll log on everybody properly, make sure everything's fine. I double check it. After I did one section, I did another section, get that all done. He come back, everything good. They're all logged on already. Or the bus are coming to pick them up. Okay, no problem. Let them know. So I get that one done with the chief of police. He was happy. A few minutes later, my supervisor called me panicking. The chief of police called me. He asked me what to do. I got it done. Everything calm, everything collected. People ready to go to the next location. Oh, you did all that? I said, yeah, not a problem. There's nothing. She's like, oh, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm fine. She was shocked. I'm like, you think this is bad? I work for a corporate bank.
Yeah.
Any second, me and the auto to them, they want you to be right there ahead of time, fix the problem. So it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
But local government don't take care of their stuff.
Right.
Not even the state government. So you can imagine what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't have any questions for you, Michael. You want to throw in your social media? Where can they find you?
All right.
Or I'll put it in the show notes when we get the episode up.
I mean, you can throw in that LinkedIn. I don't do, I'm on the social media just under Michael Richardson, pretty much under all platforms. That's all.
All right. No, it's been great having you, man. Thank you for doing the interview.
Yeah, I mean,
and definitely we want to hear more from you. We're gonna have you.
We're gonna call you. We're definitely gonna call you.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, I just want to
drop here in this interview is needed.
Okay. I just wanted to put it out.
We need something like this.
Mm-hmm.
We really need something like
put it out.
People need to hear where you come from, what you done, to kind of spend the kind of money.
Right.
If we can get all these thugs to become corporate thugs, corporate thug, without using that thing from now on, I bet they'll be like, well, I could be a corporate thug? Bet that up. I'm going in.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's a new phrase.
Well,
I also the anti, you sure you're not a corporate thug? He was like, where you get off? I don't ask. Are you a corporate thug?
and that's what y'all should try to get too. He was a software engineer, so I'm sure he could give you a lot of knowledge.
Anton is a software engineer. Did it for 4.5 years before he quit and did his own thing. And he used his advantage, what he learned in the corporate world as a software engineer to make the money he's making right now.
You know what the funny thing is? We both from Detroit. I'm just much older than him.
Nice.
But guys, the reason why I really did this interview because I just wanted all the young people to know that there is a place for them, that they can go and make good money and learn and have a true testimony. And a lot of these companies out here are hiring today big time. So,
Maybe we have too many black techs. We could have our own black corporation this time. Run our own thing, because let's be honest, if you can get most of the people off the street and get into the IT arena or any other arena and make real good money, I promise you it changed the dynamic, how people look at us.
Definitely.
Of course. I mean, they want to talk about, the bag. The bag is there. The money is there.
But
it's just the marketing is not there.
Yeah.
And who knows, you could go international. You don't have to be over here. You could just go to Africa or go to Caribbean and say, you know what? You set one over here.
But see, guys,
that's it.
But see, guys, what y'all have to look at is this. People stereotype black people. And it's more successful black people who's doing their thing than it is not. And I have seen that in the world. Like most of my friends, they're in the industry and they have made good money for a long time. They own houses. They own 2 houses. They got this, that, and the other. Don't let people stereotype you. I got a lot of successful friends. I got friends who own their own business. I got friends who own their own clothing lines. I got friends who do a lot of different things. So,
yeah. Eli, you got anything else?
I ain't got nothing more. Right now, I'm thinking about who can I bring to compete with him now. The only thing in my mind is bringing Mandrell because that's another crazy one in there. Loose cannon, but
yeah, he crazy though. But
he crazy, but he know his stuff though.
Yeah, he do.
And he the trick though. He working on his own sport line, clothing line right now as we speak. So
that's cool.
when he get up and running, I'm jumping in. I'll be first on the line and say, hey, I'm getting this, and this. I already call first. I want to hear anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, support our brothers who do something great.
But networking is where it is.
But Michael, it's been good having you, man. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the interview.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.
And, all right.